Hello everybody, welcome back to Broadway Baby. This is my fourth and the last review I have in this little series I have going for my July trip to New York City. And the fourth show I saw, my last night in New York, I saw a very incredible musical, big spectacle. It won in 2013 for Best Revival of a Musical, and it's the Stephen Schwartz classic, Pippin. So let's get started. For those of you who have not seen Pippin or are not familiar with the show Pippin, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Basically, Pippin starts out with its leading player, who has this troupe of actors, in this case circus performers, that go around telling these different fables and stories. For this audience, this time of day in the story, they are telling the story of Pippin. And basically, there's these actors who act out these different characters and tell a story within a story. It's very abstract storytelling. And of course, the score is written by none other than Stephen Schwartz, who wrote Wicked, Godspell, all those favorites. What's different about this production of Pippin is Diana Paulus, who works at the American Repertory Theater, directed this production and teamed up with Tribes to make it a circus atmosphere. So it's the same Pippin you know and love, but told in this new circus setting where there's the Pippin songs and the characters with acrobats, there's people juggling flames, there's people doing flips and tricks and spinning everywhere and going up on the trapeze. And by the way, all the characters in the show do some kind of circus performance or some kind of trick. Even Annie Potts, who's an older actor who plays Bertha, does all these amazing feats. She's a lot stronger than I am. Which, before I start on the characters at all, I will say the amount of talent they get for this show is incredible, especially with the acrobats in the cast. A lot of them are making their debuts, or they've been in Cirque du Soleil, some of those shows, they're making their Broadway debut. And they do incredible things, these jumps and flips, and a lot of them do these balancing acts. It's amazing. If you have not even heard of Pippin before, you're not familiar with the musical, go see the show at least for the circus act, because it is such a great spectacle. It's a great show to go see on Broadway if you want that real Broadway musical experience. This is my kind of show because it's more abstract. Pippin is just that story within a story and kind of tells this message of this traveling acting troupe and the leading player as something in your brain, that conscience, that force that motivates you to be more than you are, to be this great person. What are you going to live up to? What are your expectations? And I feel like everybody has that in their life, where they're motivated by some voice in their brain to do more. And it's kind of playing that fact as Pippin's trying to find out what he wants to do. Does he want to be like his father and be a war hero, be a king? Does he want to find a mate? Or what does he want to do in life? How is Pippin going to make his life great? And he ends up finding this simple life and is kind of conflicted by, does he want greatness, or can he settle for this simple life with a wife and a kid? It kind of brings the fact as you can search, you can find greatness, but sometimes that greatness is the simplicity in life and just being happy with what you already have. It's a really great message, and it's told in this abstract way, and definitely with the music, the score's incredible. Stephen Schwartz just brings the story full circle. It's a really, really great message for a Broadway show with a lot of complex ideas. Now, I've seen Pippin over my spring break this year with Bettina Miller in the original cast, and then now I'm seeing Pippin with a brand new cast this time around. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the new cast. Sierra Renee, who played the witch in Big Fish earlier this year, Sierra has now taken over for Bettina's role as the leading player. I think Sierra brings a little bit of a twist to this role. She plays an almost, it was to me an almost like a little darker version. She has this look on her face, this happy, almost painful look, that she's trying to give off this inviting person, but you see behind that face, behind that smile and that laughter, there's this dark person who is pushing Pippin to meet her own expectations. in her own finale and kind of playing into her world. I think Bettina played this more inviting leading player, and Sierra's playing this kind of more darker leading player, and I really love her interpretation of it. I don't know if that's the effect she was giving, but that's my interpretation of her performance. Regardless, I loved it. I think Sierra was a great replacement. She is a great leading player, and you have to go see the show for her because she excels in this role. A Broadway favorite has been Next to Normal, Wicked. Kyle D. Massey played Pippin. He took over originally Matthew James Thomas. I thought Kyle D. Massey did a really great job. I think he brought more personality to Pippin. I think Matthew James Thomas played to the original Pippin, this man trying to find himself. I think Kyle D. Massey played more with the new comical approach to the show, the more circus theme, and brought a lot more personality into the role of Pippin. He was very funny, very witty. He had a great voice. I really loved him with Sierra. I thought they drove this new energy into the show. You know, with the revival especially, when it's a long-running show, they want to breathe new life into it with new people when the original cast leave. And I think this transition worked perfectly. And Kyle and Sierra really stole the show and shine in Pippin. John Rubinstein, who if you don't know him, you should. John played the original Pippin in the 1970s cast. John played King Charlemagne in this production, and he was phenomenal. I was lucky to see him the 2 weeks where he took over, and now I heard he's going to go on the national tour of Pippin, so he's probably preparing for this new role. I love it when some people from the original cast will come back and play different roles. I think it's really great because you get to see these legends who were in the original show and know the show so well, and they love it so much that they want to come back and kind of revisit and have a new experience with the show they love so much. John had a lot of great energy. He was really great in this role. He was a different King Charlemagne, but it was really great to see him on stage and see his performance. So just seeing him alone, he has such a presence on stage. He's a true legend. I was so happy to meet him after the show. Pippin has always been one of my favorite shows as an artist, and to meet somebody who's in the original Pippin was just phenomenal. Annie Potts played Bertha. I know her personally. She was a secretary in Ghostbusters. She's been in a lot of TV, films. A lot of people recognize Annie Potts. At first I thought, well, they brought a name in to advertise Pippin, but Annie Potts, she brought her all to this show. And of course, Bertha has that one song in the show, No Time at All, but she really brought it in that scene she had and milked that stage time. And plus, Annie Potts has worked out. She went up on the trapeze with the acrobat and she was flipping upside down while singing, and I was really surprised at all the circus tricks she was doing. Annie had comedic timing, she was charming, people loved her, the audience ate her up. Annie Potts is fantastic, and I wish I could see her in more musicals and more theater work, because she's phenomenal. Rachel Bay Jones played Catherine. She was part of the original cast. She was just as funny as when I saw her the first time, even funnier. Her voice and her mannerisms and the way she talks, she has this different comedic timing, and it just slays the audience with her character of Catherine. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in a show. But then at the same time, she can switch the role of Catherine, and she could play the most emotional character, this big ballad, this big song, and draw the audience in and make them cry and pull at their heartstrings. I think having this versatility and the switch of playing this super comedic character, super funny, this dimwit character, and having this very thoughtful, very insightful, emotional woman, I think that's incredible as an actress. Yeah, Rachel is amazing. I'm surprised she did not win a Tony for this performance because she was phenomenal. So if you have a chance, you have to go see Pippin. It's one of the amazing shows that has come from the American Repertory Theater. A.R.T, American Repertory Theater, has brought the Porgy and Bess revival with Norm Lewis and Audra McDonald to Broadway. This year it brought Glass Menagerie to New York, and it's also going to bring the Finding Neverland musical with Jeremy Jordan very soon. A.R.T has a good repertoire of shows and new works, and it's just shining on Broadway and snatching up all the Tonys. I think everybody else should be scared, because if there's more shows like Pippin, they're gonna clean sweep the Tonys for the next couple of years. So please, please, please go catch Pippin, especially with this new cast. This cast was phenomenal. Go see Sierra Renee and Kyle D. Massey. You can go to pippinthemusical.com to buy tickets. Also on Ticketmaster and the tickets booth in Times Square. And of course, I will post all those links below. Also, Pippin will be going on tour soon. I'll be posting information about the tour below. Andrew and Martin is going to play a couple dates. So be sure to go see Pippin on tour if you cannot catch them on Broadway. Be sure to like and comment what you thought of Pippin the musical, whether you saw it with the original cast or this new cast. I want to hear what you thought of Pippin. And also be sure to hit that big red button below and subscribe to my channel. I post Broadway news, Broadway reviews, and a lot of other theater-related videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on Broadway Baby.